Why is it? Hello and welcome to the Fulltime Hangout Arsenal versus Aston Villa. We got the global Gooners here, myself, Jack McDonald, Moran Mohammadi, and Rayhan. 3-0 result for the Arsenal. Pretty boring second half, but you know what? The goals came quick and fast. Rayhan, 3 goals in 3 minutes. What were you most impressed about today in the match?
I was most impressed with the midfield and the attacking players today, especially Mesut Ozil. For me, he's my man of the match. I think he put in a good performance. He silenced the doubters. I mean, I myself was a bit critical of him earlier in the week. You know, I was wondering what happened to the good old Mesut Ozil, and hopefully this will spur him on to really improve his game and improve his season and get back to winning ways.
Yeah, totally agree. Mesut Ozil was my man of the match. How about you, Moran? I know Danny Welbeck had a good performance. Any other shouts from you?
Yeah, I think those guys are the two focal points. I think an underrated player in the match was Sandy Cazorla. I think Ozil plays much better with Cazorla than the like of Wilshere. Maybe because of the way Cazorla plays contrast to Wilshere. Wilshere who likes to penetrate. Cazorla much more pace and loves to move the ball. So maybe that really influenced the way Ozil played today.
Pretty shaky performance off the start, boys. Big save from Wojciech Szczesny to keep us in the match, stop us from going 1-0 down. And you know what? We got that clean sheet, which was very, very important. And I'm reading through some of the comments right here saying how here's a comment from Arsenal Sneakerhead. Well done, Arsenal. However, I admit I was disappointed by how we approached the second half. I would have to disagree. We are already up 3-0. We don't really need more goals. We just need to kill the game off, keep the clean sheet, and not get any injuries. Our back four is riddled with injuries. We don't need to force anything going forward. We don't need to keep the match open. We can just get possession of the ball, not let Villa have a sniff at our net, and that's that. We get 3 points right hand.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I agree and I disagree. I think, yeah, I mean, obviously we're 3-0 up, and it's good to protect our own players. I was a bit frustrated, though, in the second half in terms of efficiency. I mean, over the years, Arsenal hasn't exactly been the most efficient team in terms of possession ratio to goals.
Yeah.
I mean, we had, I think, 80% possession in the second half, and we didn't do too much with it, to be honest. So in that sense, it's a bit frustrating because against the bigger teams, you know, if we do have the possession, I want to see us make the most of that. But yeah, we were already winning, so it's not too bad.
Yep. Moran, going to you. What do you expect when Theo Walcott, Alexis Sanchez get back into the squad? Because the way if Mesut Ozil can keep up the form of today, we'll have an attacking core of Ozil, Walcott, Sanchez, Welbeck. And no disrespect to Oxlade-Chamberlain or Cazorla that started out there, but that front four sounds extremely, extremely dangerous.
Oh yeah, it sounds it's like I've been waiting for the whole season, just a fully healthy Arsenal squad. And the only thing I'm worrying about is if Wenger, he loves he didn't do it today, but he loves trying to play Ramsey, Wilshere, and Ozil all together. And most of the time, Arsenal don't look that great when they play with those three all on the pitch. So it's going to be, is Wenger willing to drop Wilshere for a stretch of games? That's what I'm going to be looking forward. That's what I'm going to be wondering about. Sorry.
You say drop Wilshere, but Aaron Ramsey really hasn't had a good stretch of games. We've seen the player he's grown into from last season. He was probably one of our worst players today, and he has been for a couple matches now. Although he did contribute nicely for that second goal to that pass out wide from Mesut Ozil, but his passing, his mental capacity for opportunities have changed in the sense that he always picked the right time to burst into the box last year. He always picked the right time to hang back with Mikel Arteta. His timing of his runs were perfect last year, and I think that's off. He's kind of forcing things. He's doing things at the wrong time, and that's what I think's wrong with Aaron Ramsey at the moment. I know you wanted to say something there.
Yeah, but the thing is, who are you gonna? You can't really replace Ramsey because he's our only true box-to-box midfielder. You can make the assumption that Wilshere or Rosicky can play that role, but honestly, they can't do it the way Ramsey does because they're more attacking-minded. They're more trying to, join the attack. Ramsey, he does that, but he can also come back and track when he's supposed to. So there's no one that you can really drop Ramsey for because he's our only true box-to-box midfielder.
I agree. Rayhan, I was impressed with Callum Chambers at right back today. And going forward, he showed that he might have the skill set to play that defensive mid role if needed coming up further in the season. His composure on the ball looks well enough to be at that position. Sure, he doesn't have the experience just yet, but if Debuchy comes back somewhat soon and we're still kind of exposed in that defensive mid role, why not give him a try?
I think, okay, well, that can be done. That can be done. I didn't think Callum Chambers was as good as he usually is today. He was still good, but he gave away quite a few reckless fouls and reckless challenges. And I think that'll come with maturity over time. But I wasn't too impressed with the mannerisms with which he gave away the fouls today. He was good on the ball, as you pointed out. Yeah, I must give him credit for that, especially in the second half. As for that defensive midfield role, I don't think he's quite ready for that. I think I'll give him a couple of years to even try it out. I actually prefer him as a centre-back, to be honest. I thought he did a great job in place of Per Mertesacker in recent weeks. And he seems to be much more on point when he's in that position. But he does make a good right-back, and hopefully we'll see good things from him.
The thing about Callum Chambers that I think he needs to work on is, as you said, the mannerisms in which he reckless tackles, and I think part of that's overcommitting. He's so hungry to get the ball that, sometimes he doesn't make the best decision-making in terms of when to step up, when to put a foot in. Instead, he's just going all over the place, which is also a positive. We see Koscielny play like that all the time, and he comes out with tackles, comes out with balls that you never expect him to come out with. But let's move on to the midfield today, Moran. Mikel Arteta, Oxlade-Chamberlain, decent performances. They weren't really that involved. What did you think of those two players today?
Well, I think it was just a normal Arteta performance. No, he didn't do anything. He didn't do much wrong, but he didn't really influence the match that much. I think Chamberlain, I think he put in a good shift. I think he was always willing to go at the defenders. He was always willing to dribble. The only thing that Chamberlain does is he always puts his head down, doesn't take a chance to look up. But I like his confidence today going on that flank going at defenders. So I think he put in a great shift.
Yep. But let's talk about our star man, Mesut Ozil today. Absolutely fantastic. The goal was great, the assist was great, but just his overall energy and willingness to chase balls down, the energy that he showed today was top class. That's what we expect from £42 million signing. And he really silenced his critics today, Rayhan. I know you were one of them midweek, and you weren't necessarily complaining about the goals and the assist as much, but I think you were complaining about his work rate. And I think he really showed it today. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, you're right, and I'm glad he did. I'm glad he proved me wrong because I was really concerned, like genuinely concerned about his work rate and his mentality in the game, as far as tracking the ball, tracking attackers back, and things like that. But I'm glad to see him really put in a good shift, like a solid effort today. He wore his heart on his sleeve today, and I'm really impressed with how he played.
If he can keep on playing like that, Moran, Welbeck plays like that, Sanchez plays like that, Ramsey plays like that, Walcott, maybe not so much with the tracking down and the hard defensive work rate, but offensively has a hard work rate. We're going to have an attacking core that really works hard defensively and offensively, and when we play the big teams, if we can defend as a team, because there's no point having only one or two hardworking players on the team. If we see Alexis Sanchez go crazy sprinting from side to side, if he's the only one chasing down, that means nothing. We gotta have a commitment as a team to defend together. And if Mesut Ozil can really buy into that, that can do wonders for the team.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you can't just put it on a player. I think it's also, it's a coaching thing. I think Wenger's got to implement that into him. I've seen a few Atletico Madrid matches. Diego Simeone does a great job in implementing that in his squad because it doesn't really matter which player he has on the squad. He will make them put 110% each and every day, and they put great pressure, tight, high pressure every match. So I want to see that from Arsenal. I would love to see that defending, high work rate, up and down, and it's something I would really admire if we can, adopt that mentality.
But Rayhan, there's high work rate, but then there's also a smart work rate, if you know what I mean. Like, there's no point in us running around like headless chickens on the pitch. Sometimes I see that in some players individually, but as a team, we got to really know where we're all going, know our own responsibilities, because, as I said before, if Alexis Sanchez is the only one sprinting, chasing the center backs for no reason, and nobody's helping him out, that's just going to affect him on the offensive side of the ball, and he won't be as effective.
Yeah, that just goes back to that efficiency comment I made earlier. I mean, you're right in saying, they have to be smart when it comes to putting in that kind of effort. Alexis Sanchez does track back a bit too far for my liking for an offensive player. It's great, though. I do greatly admire his work rate and his effort for the team. But I think you're definitely making a good point there in terms of sort of coordinating that effort.
Yeah.
I mean but that's down to Arsene Wenger and I'd say Arteta and Mertesacker in terms of instructing that side of play on the defensive front.
Moran, pick a defender that had a great game today.
I think it was pretty clear that Koscielny had a great match. I think he's like that pin in the defense that's gonna always stick to you. He just had a solid performance. He didn't let anything through. On the ball, he was strong. Defending, he was strong. I have nothing else to say. He just put in a great shift as usual.
I'm going to have to go with Kieran Gibbs. Having him back is a huge step up, and just his presence, his confidence, his demeanor on the pitch is way different to Nacho Monreal. He has the pace, he has the athleticism to really be a top left back, and he kind of has a swagger to him this season where going forward, he's taking guys on, he's ready to put a good cross into the box, and he just looks like a really professional player. He's made that step up from just a youngster to a consistent 90-minute player, and that's what I love to see from Kieran Gibbs. Rayhan, what do you want to see us going into the next match? Any things that we should be working on from this previous game against Aston Villa?
Well, I think we should really build on the positives of today's game. The positives being the attacking fluidity. I thought that was very good. We've got that edge back. I think we do need to still work on defending and set pieces as well. We looked a little bit vulnerable at times. I still think we need to remedy that. I just think in terms of the midfield, we do need to find that balance between defense and attack and making those transitions well. But that's just the general stuff, really. But I hope we can fine-tune those things for the next match and get the 3 points.
I think what I want to see from Arsenal in the next match is just playing a full 90 minutes of good football. Today, we didn't start off very well, but we made up for it obviously in that 3-minute spurt where we scored 3 goals. And I just want a consistent performance. You know what? We win 2-0. We play a good 90 minutes. We don't look shaky in the back. Sure, we need to absorb pressure, and the Premier League teams will always put pressure on you, but absorb that pressure, don't look vulnerable, and just put in a good 90 minutes, Moran. What do you want to see? Oh,
yeah, I totally agree. I really think I really totally expect that next week, because next week's the North London Derby. I really expect everyone to be up for that match. I think Sanchez will be up for that match. I think just the motivation of playing the Spuds at the Emirates is going to put in a great performance. I really expect us to dominate next week.
Yep. Any last words, guys? Today was strange in the sense that everything happened so suddenly, and then it was just done. We got off to a shaky start. We had our 3 minutes of brilliance. We finished the first half off well, and then the second half was pretty not lackadaisical, but uneventful. We just held possession of the ball, and I'm not complaining about that. I think that's fine, but I know other people wanted to see more goals, and that's always nice, but it really just happened so quickly. We had so much joy in that 15 minutes. Mesut Ozil getting his goal after all that criticism he's faced this week, and getting that great assist to Danny Welbeck, and Danny Welbeck getting his first goal for the club, and then a shocker on goal. Any last words, guys? I'll start with you, Ryan.
Well, it was a good performance, a bit underwhelming in the second half, but I want to see more of the same and hopefully more improvement from Arsenal. I hope this will be the turning point for our season, where we can really pick up that pace and get back to winning ways.
Moran, going into that North London derby, any thoughts?
I just beat up on the Spuds next week, and it'll make for a happy weekend.
Totally agree. All right, thanks for the comments, guys. We appreciate you guys joining us for the pre-match, halftime, and full-time hangouts. We're the Global Gooners. We'll see you guys next week against Spurs. Nothing better than a North London derby. Up the Arsenal.